Hello, Village School in West Windsor, New Jersey. My name is Dan Tricarico, and I'm coming to you from San Diego, California. I am the author of a book called The Zen Teacher, and I put a little T on my copy so that I know it's my copy so it stays where it needs to stay at my house. I am honored and pleased today to talk to you about gratitude. My understanding is that you're starting a gratitude wall at your school, and I just think that that is amazing and wonderful. And I'm so humbled to have been even the slightest bit of an inspiration for that. And I hope that you will tell me how things go. Let me start by talking to you a little bit about why I wrote the book that I did. I wrote The Zen Teacher because I saw some amazing teachers, some of the best teachers that I had ever seen, start to burn out and melt down and crash and burn and leave the profession because of the stresses that we are experiencing right now in our profession. And I'm sure that you are experiencing some of those same stresses too. And it's really important to me, and I've made it part of my mission to help teachers get through these stressors that we are experiencing. Because I looked at those stressors and I said, I have 10 more years before I retire. I can't crash and burn. I have to make it through. How am I going to make it through? And I remembered back when I was a drama major and in acting classes, and I learned exercises like meditation and breathing exercises and focus exercises. And I thought, well, maybe that would help me lower my stress and be able to get through these stressors. And ever since starting these techniques, I have been more happy and more calm and more peaceful than I have been in my entire career. So to share that with other teachers, I started a blog called The Zen Teacher, and I wrote this book, The Zen Teacher. And I'm so glad the message is getting out there, and I'm so glad some people are reading it, and I truly hope and genuinely hope that it is helping people with those stressors. So that's why I wrote the book in the first place. And yes, I did include a chapter on gratitude. Gratitude is a very important part of being happy, being calm, and being peaceful. There are a lot of reasons for that, and I'm just going to share some kind of random thoughts on gratitude that will give you something to think about and reflect on as you start to do your work with gratitude. The first person I want to talk about is Mr. Morrissey. Mr. Morrissey was my favorite teacher of all time. I talk about him a little bit in the book. You would think as a drama major and an English teacher that my favorite teacher would have been a drama teacher or an English teacher or a writing teacher, but it wasn't. My favorite teacher of all time, without a doubt, hands down, was Mr. Morrissey, my high school Spanish teacher. He was funny, he was wise, he was caring, he was everything you would want in a wonderful teacher. And I had him for 2 years, and one of the things that was so great and that I am so grateful for with him is that he got to see me teach once. That when he retired, I wrote him a letter and telling him how grateful I was that he was my teacher. And he came to deliver a thank you note for that letter during summer, and I was actually teaching summer school, and the vice principal said, well, you know, Dan is teaching down in his room. Why don't you go down there? And so Mr. Morrissey was able to come down and see me teach, and that kind of full circle was something that I was incredibly grateful for. And the reason I tell you that story is because all of you, each of you out there, is going to be a Mr. Morrissey for one of your students, and already are probably for many of them. They are going to be grateful for you. And that's the first thought I wanted to start with in terms of gratitude, is that you are doing an amazing job, and your students are going to be grateful that they had you for their teachers. So that's one thought I wanted to share. Another thought is a story I heard about a monk. And this monk put little labels on everything in his house to remind him to be grateful. He would put a label on the water faucet. He would put a label on the light switch. And the point is that every time he went and would flip the switch or turn on the faucet, that little label would remind him to be grateful. And I don't think in our society we ever bring the idea of gratitude down to that level, but when you really think about it, it's pretty magical. We go and turn on the faucet, water comes out. We flip the switch, lights go on. We turn the knob, gas is going in our stove, and we can cook and we can eat. We might be grateful for bigger things or fancy things or special things, but sometimes it's about being grateful for the things that are under your nose every day that we take for granted. So that's a thought I wanted to leave you with too today, is just to remember to be grateful for the things that we often take for granted and that seem like, well, of course I have that thing. But not everybody does, and sometimes it's helpful to think about that, and that can put things in perspective for us and help us be grateful. One personal thing that I've been doing in terms of gratitude, which I want to share with you, is I have a journal And I have, over the years, tried lots of different journal approaches, as I'm sure many of you have. And, um, and I've kind of combined a lot recently. But one thing that I've been doing that's been really helpful is on my day-to-day journaling, I will put an MG and an EG, and that stands for morning gratitude and evening gratitude. And somewhere around lunch, when I have my journal out at school in my classroom, I will just jot in under MG something that I was grateful for that happened from the morning until lunchtime. And then at night, before I go to bed, or when I'm getting ready for the next day, or when I'm grading papers and I need a break, I will sit down and write down something under MG for something that happened, say, from lunch until that time in the evening. And that's just a really nice way to stop and consider and reflect on what's been happening in your life that you can be grateful for. And actually, I started that after I wrote the book, so that's not in the book, so I just wanted to tell you about that approach that I take too. Finally, a really important idea that I want to share with you is the idea of self-gratitude. And it's so important that I want to read a little section from the book. And if you've read the book, you've read this part, but I just want to share with you because I think it says it. I would like to say it says it better than I would say it, but I guess I said it. So I'm going to just read it to you here. And it says, "Don't forget to express gratitude to yourself. You do wonderful things every day as a teacher, and you should make certain you stop periodically to acknowledge them. You can express self-gratitude by complimenting yourself, making a list of things you're proud of, giving yourself time to do something for which you have a passion, giving yourself time to do absolutely nothing at all, listing your recent accomplishments, accepting compliments. Take time to really hear them, internalize kind words, and make them a part of who you are. Gracefully accepting compliments is a wildly underappreciated way of showing self-gratitude. Teachers like us we need to make it a point every day to reach out to others on campus, to express gratitude, to say thank you, and to count our blessings. Expressing appreciation can only help increase our inner peace and contentment, which in turn reverberates throughout the class and is inevitably contagious. So if there's one thought I could leave you with, it's in all of the activities you have about expressing gratitude, please do not forget to express gratitude to yourself. And as a final thought, I want to let you know if you're interested in participating in the Zen Teacher Conversation, there are lots of ways to do that. You can find me on Twitter with the handle @TheZenTeacher. There's a closed Facebook group that if you find it on Facebook and apply, I will approve you, absolutely. There is a newsletter that you can sign up for on my website, which is www.thezenteacher.com. And on that website, you can also find my blog where I share ideas and reflections and activities and meditations that will help you on this path to just decrease your stress, increase your focus, your simplicity in the classroom and your teaching practice, and your tranquility in what you do. And I want to end with a big thank you for what you do, because I cannot think of a more noble profession, and I cannot think of people I would rather have around me while we're doing it. So please keep me posted on how things go with your gratitude work, and thank you for letting me be here today. Again, it was my honor and my pleasure, and I was so humbled to be asked. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Bye-bye.